All right. Hello, everyone. We are live. Hello. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Pastrami Nation podcast. It's been a minute, but we're back. We're here. We're ready to. And there he goes. Christian's
Of course.
already gone. Um, I'm Kevin, and joining me today, right here in the same room, my child, my spawn, my son, Elijah. How you doing today? Are you surviving this weather?
Doing better than you are.
Yes, you are. I've been working outside all day. It was 104-degree weather up here in
It was
Oregon.
actually like not even 101 before you got home.
It was hot, dude. It was hot. It was hot. Anyways,
not saying it wasn't.
Christian is here too. How you doing today, sir?
Doing good. Not as hot down here, thank goodness. But
That's
still hot.
nice. Good.
Yeah, still hot. How are you doing, Jason? How hot is it in the desert?
It's a mild, like 102 degrees.
Oh,
Yeah, gotta love the high desert, you know.
Jeez. Oh man, and of course, Jason, co-founder of Pastrami Nation himself, Mr. Jason Smith. How you doing today, sir? Other than burning up,
Good.
apparently.
How's it go? Yeah, I'm dying over here. It's like a humid hot right now.
yeah.
It's
Rough.
crazy. But I I kind of want to start off by just kind of talking about this real quick, just our thoughts and our prayers and all that stuff going to the people in Maui right now.
Yes.
Maui is going through a lot. If you guys can donate, I know there are different organizations and stuff that you can look up to donate to. There go a lot of it's on fire. A lot of it is on fire right now. It's burning up a lot of things, a lot of unfortunate fatalities and stuff due to the fire. So
Very scary.
Very scary. Hold them in your thoughts. I know a lot of people are getting to safety, getting out of there. But a lot of people don't have the opportunity to do so. And just one thing, like, don't go to Maui right now. Just don't be a tourist.
No.
Like, it's fine. Like, cancel your trips. Like, it's cool. Like, you can. Something's more important than vacation. Let them do their thing. I mean, all their resources are going to, I was reading, all their hotels, all their resources are going to people who are being displaced by the fires. So they don't really have a lot of room for other stuff right now. So for tourists. Yeah. So, cancel your plans right now. It's okay. It's always going to be later. Let them get this taken care of right now, because it's super, super important. More important
It's
than
crazy. Yeah. Like, would you ever have thought Maui suffering from wildfires? Like, you hear about this stuff in like the San Bernardino Mountains and stuff like that, but Maui.
Yeah, I can't even honestly wrap my head around like how quickly that they were saying like the fire was spreading at like 60 miles an hour. Like that's insane. Like, dude,
people leaving their cars and jumping into the water, literally.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's horrible. So keep them in your thoughts and do what you guys can to donate. Fortunately, I don't have a list of places right now, but I'm sure you Google. There's a lot of resources online. Instagram, I know, is a great source. There's some celebrities I've been following. Jason Momoa specifically, he's been putting out a lot of stuff out there about the community, about the fires, and where you guys can donate to help. So go check him out on Instagram. Gypsies is his Instagram handle. He's my favorite Instagram account anyways. He always puts up cool stuff. So definitely go check that out. So on a brighter note, today's show, guys, we're going to be talking a little bit about an upcoming comic up here in Portland. We're also going to be talking about the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem movie that came out a couple of weeks ago. We're also going to talk about the box office a little bit regarding that, and also just the box office in general this year. Just one big shout out regarding box office I really want to bring up. Barbie has been dominating everything. It's reached $1 billion worldwide, and that is insane, and especially such a short amount of time. So kudos to everyone who worked on that whole Greta Gerwig, Margot Robbie, America Ferrera, Ryan Gosling. Everybody, just want to send out a huge congrats, and that's amazing. That's huge. We have seen it here, loved it. Me and Christian, we saw it. We absolutely loved it. So not that anyone else needs more reason to go see it, but like, go watch it, please. You won't regret it. It's one of the Nolan, the founder of Pastrami Nation, along with Jason. He saw it and he said it was one of the funniest movies he's seen in a long time, and he's absolutely correct. It's a really, really great movie. Go see it if you haven't yet. So congratulations to the cast and crew of Barbie. That's huge. That's amazing. Good job. Hey, Arturo, what's going on? How you doing today, sir? So up here, yeah, I know it's Comic-Con season. Comic-Con season's kind of coming to a close soon. I know one of the big last ones towards the end of the season is Rose City Comic-Con, which takes place up here in Portland. This year it's going to be taking place Friday, September 22nd through Sunday, September 24th. And it's always a good time. I've been covering it the last couple of years for Pastrami Nation. I'm also going to be covering it this year as press. There's going to be a lot of people there. Unfortunately, Jodie Whittaker was supposed to be there, but she unfortunately had to cancel Doctor Who. But right now, as it stands, we have Karen Gillan, we have Felicia Day, the entire cast of Critical Role. We also have a fairly new addition is Zoe Saldana, who played Gamora in the, she's the Daughters of Thanos. Her and Karen Gillan are going to be there. They're also going to be teaming up for a photo op, which is really cool. $315 for that photo op. But hey, if you can afford it, totally worth it.
If I had the money, I would do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll take two.
Ashley Johnson is going to be there. It is, dude. So the first day the ticket went on sale for autographs and pictures. I really wanted to get my copy of The Last of Us Part 2 signed by Ashley Johnson because it has Ellie's face right on it. I was like, this would be really cool. Sold out. Like she sold out. Like her autograph sold out like in a heartbeat. Like by the time I was able to load it, like she was the only one too. Like everyone else,
how popular
like,
she is right now.
Yeah, everybody loves Ashley.
She's huge. She's just, with Critical Role and everything too. Like she's massive.
She's Critical Role alone. She's so beloved, and like just all the other stuff that she's doing on top of it that makes sense.
It kind of blows my mind how not in a bad way at all. I didn't realize how much of a mark on pop culture Critical Role has had. Like I did not realize how big Critical Role is. Like it's insane.
It's a juggernaut. Like it's crazy.
It's crazy. It's so crazy. But I mean, most of those photo ops and autographs are all pretty much sold out now too. We still have Felicia Day. Ralph Macchio was added a couple days ago.
Nice.
So that would be a cool photo op or autograph to get. They're still kind of slowly adding on. I do have a feeling with the strikes and everything going on right now that a lot more actors are going to be doing these kind of events just to essentially pay the bills, right? Like, because they're able to fund their things through this. So, so it's going to be always a good time. We have this retro arcade in downtown Portland called Ground Control. Really, really cool place. 2 stories, just a coin op arcade. It's very cool. They're going to be sponsoring the retro game section at this year's Comic-Con, so they have all the classic games up. Yeah, we went. Remember when you went a couple years ago? You got lost in there.
I did.
You did. It's a whole thing. Do they have they're gonna have their Primal Rage, man. Like they had freaking. I remember last time I was there, I was playing Dragon's Lair, like the original.
Nice,
awesome,
really old school.
Yeah, dude, if you guys ever come up to Portland, I'm telling you, we need to go to Ground Control. It's almost it's like a bar. So like after I think it's after 9 o'clock, 21 and over. So you can get like your wristband and get like,
that's cool.
Drinks and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. It's really, really cool. Tickets are on sale now. You can always go to pastramination.com. We got the article up there about Rose City Comic Con. You can also go to rosecitycomiccon.com and purchase your tickets. They have 3-day passes available. They have all the passes available. So definitely check it out this year. And if you're from out of town, definitely come up to Portland and check it out. Portland's a cool place. I know I always pimp up Portland when I'm on this podcast, but Portland is an amazing city. Portland and Seattle, 2 of my favorites. So anyways, awesome. Check that out if you guys want to. Yeah, dude, Portland's amazing. So let's talk about. Dude, you do, man. You do. Everyone does. It's a great place.
I gotta come up there and just visit you guys and hang out.
Please, dude. Yeah, come up, dude. The food is amazing. Food trucks everywhere. Food trucks everywhere.
I'm a foodie.
Yeah. Food trucks. Ask your brother Nolan. He was up here a couple years ago, but Powell's, like we did all the fun stuff. So yeah, dude. Now it's your turn. Come on out. So let's talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. I know it's been a couple weeks, but we haven't been able to talk about it. So first, let's get started. Let's just kind of go around the table here and just basically say what we thought about it. So I'm going to start with Eli here, which, I mean, I think it's pretty much self-explanatory where he lands on it. But what did you think about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I thought it was really good.
Okay.
especially compared to some of the other animated and non-animated movies we've been getting these past couple of years.
Especially the non-animated movies, but we'll talk about that on a different show.
Yeah.
That's its own
Christian?
podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I loved
right?
it. Yeah, I really loved it. We'll get into it. I didn't think it was perfect, but it's probably one of my favorite iterations of the Ninja Turtles. I think it's probably one of the freshest iterations of the Ninja Turtles since its inception. I think there's always like something new that they bring to the table, but I think this is like I think the thing that's so surprising, it's so obvious. Like, how did nobody do this before?
Yeah,
not the whole thing. I mean, that's one thing, but like just the idea of actually making them teenagers, casting teenagers as the Ninja Turtles. I thought that's really like a fun, fresh take. But there's so much more that I love about this movie. But yeah,
absolutely.
What about you guys?
Yeah, what about you, Jason?
Well, first off, hey, Jason Bean's here with us too.
Oh, Jason, what's up, man? How you doing?
Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I absolutely loved that movie. Like, the animation was just beautiful, and the score really did it for me. Like, that was one of the best movie scores I've heard in like, oh, I got chills with that. Yeah. Like, oh my God. And you gotta love the New York-based rap music because they're in New York, so made sense. My brother pointed that out to me that New York rap would be playing because they're in New York. So I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool,
Yeah.
It was pretty much a home run for me. There's one little thing I was kind of iffy on, and I kind of think I'm agreeing with you, Kevin. But I'll let you talk about that because I think I know what it is.
Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, I'm on the same boat as all you guys too. Like, I think the score. I'm still like over like a couple days after I watched it, I was having a hard time remembering what's happening in the movie because I was so struck by the animation and the score. Like, those two things really stood out. Like, I couldn't remember for the life of me. I actually had to look it up because I was just in my own little zone. I couldn't remember how the movie ended because I was so like enthralled by everything going on screen. I could not remember the basic plot. Like, it sounds weird and it sounds crazy, but it was so beautiful to look at, so beautiful to listen to. It's hard to focus on everything.
That was kind of my issue too. I was excited. So I've seen it twice now. I was very excited to see it. I was really excited to see it the second time because the first time I just missed a lot. Like, the first thing that really got me obviously was the animation, but that score, like Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross, my God, man, it's almost too good for Ninja Turtles. I hate saying that because I'm such a diehard Ninja Turtle fan, but it almost like wow. There's something, and I've said this before. It's like cyberpunk.
Joseph, just real quick, Joseph. We're not going to be getting into like 2D spoilers. We're going to talk about one kind of thing.
We're going to definitely talk about. Yeah, Joseph, you might want to peace out for a little bit, but we're definitely going to talk spoilers.
We'll let you know.
Yeah,
we'll let you know.
Yeah. Well, before we talk about I almost said Batman. Oh, I'm just kidding. Yeah, we will definitely give you warnings. But yeah, the score is incredible. It's almost like cyberpunky, but like 80s synthy, and like it's just really cool. Some of it reminds me of like I said, like cyberpunk and even Stranger Things.
I was about to say the same thing. That Stranger Thing vibe.
And then if you guys are familiar with it reminds you of the Tangerine Dream soundtrack to Legend also, especially with like the softer parts. So distracting. Like so the first time I saw it, there was like an old lady, like not an old lady, but a lady with her son sitting next to me, and like it starts and like there's a specific theme for Superfly that I love. I think that was my favorite song. But there's just like there's just the sound drops, and then I'm like, oh, and I'm like, I turn and I look, and the mom is like bobbing her head with me, like we're together, like this is awesome. It was really cool. Like, there is definitely a thing that I think all diehard Turtle fans are going to be like, wait a minute. For me, there's like 2 or 3 things that I think is the big swing. Is that like this is the thing that's very, very, very different from everything else. But also the acting, Jackie Chan steals the movie for me. Like, hilarious, so funny. And Ice Cube, Ice Cube, really funny. 6 in the morning, police at my door. Like, it's so good, man. So I loved it. But yeah, very fun.
Oh
yeah,
God,
no,
that was
100%. I'm on.
I say I
What?
definitely need that 12-inch vinyl for this one. Like for me to buy a record of a soundtrack, like it's got to be like I have the first Turtle movie one, totally awesome. I definitely need this one in my collection.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
think it was such I think they really established like what this is for our generation by using Can I Kick It for all of the promotion, right? Like
Mhm.
I think, because like you said, it's a lot of like New York hip hop, right? And I think like one of them, like if I was gonna pick like a 90s hip hop group to associate with the Turtles, it'd be Tribe. Because it's chill, it's fun, it's like party music.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that I would have. I don't know. Maybe they can make Wu Tang work in the next movie, but
Wu
like,
Tang and Turtles. Wow,
I'd be happy to see that.
freaking awesome.
That'd be so crazy. But yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff. I don't. Nobody's talking about it, but I think they kind of removed the whole. Oh, okay, all right, Joseph. So we're gonna get into spoilers now.
Oh yeah, so spoilers. Talk's going to start now. Joe, it's nice to see you though. Just text me and I'll let you know
Yeah.
when we're back. I'll text you when we're back. Spoilers.
So yeah, cool. Or we'll do a sign so you just mute it or
Yeah.
something. So one of the
Yeah.
first things that I noticed early on, I was like, oh, they could, of course, they cast Jackie Chan as Splinter. And I'm like, it's one of those things where they're casting a Chinese person to play somebody that's like technically Japanese.
Right.
Not a thing anymore. There's no ties to Japan anymore.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, the thing that we're all talking about, right? Like the issue that we might have. Kevin.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, I mean, that's exactly it, right?
Yeah.
They don't have those roots in Japan anymore. Like none of that matters anymore in this lore. You find out why they had to learn how to be, how to be Ninja Turtle, why they had to learn martial arts. Like they essentially, Splinter tries to take them out into New York City, and he doesn't have a good experience because he's a rat. He's a giant rat.
Yeah.
This is after the ooze and everything like that.
He's totally not a giant rat.
Right, exactly. And the New Yorkers, humans, because we're awful people, freaked out and made him go back to the sewers. And then he realized for his kids he needed to do something, so he taught them martial arts. They got these videos they were watching. They learned it from movies like Bruce Lee movies and all these like
Jackie Chan movies,
movies, these self-defense videos and all these things. That's why they learned martial arts. And it so yeah, that as a longtime Turtle fan, all of us are, that just didn't sit right with me. That was just not, that's not the Turtles, right? They have this long, even as something as recent as The Last Ronin, they have the Japanese roots. Like everything goes back to Japan.
They even did go there in The Last Ronin.
Well, yeah, The Last Ronin, they literally go back to Japan. Like it's, Turtles in Time, they're in Japan.
Yeah.
That just didn't sit right. I get like trying to place it for a new audience, right? And do something that may be a little bit more tangible, right? Like makes a little bit more sense as to why they would have to learn these things, especially while saying a bigger overall message about how humans are just horrible and we need to learn how to get along with everyone, right? I feel like that was kind of the points of that, to kind of be like, just to really send that point home. Like, don't judge people because they're different. Don't judge things you don't understand.
Now Shredder doesn't have that same emotional impact.
Now they're just trying to figure out what the ooze is and how to extract it or whatever they're doing, really,
So there's still TCRI. So they showed like TCRI's logo and a few times. So there's the presence of that. But yeah, there's no more type of like Hamato Yoshi, and like there's no like Splinter Shredder thing. There's still, again, another spoiler, like one of the mid-credit scene is we get to see who the next one's going to be. So obviously they're going to have to pick like find a new way to do this, like write a new way to do this, because so this is kind of what I was talking about before. Like, there's I'm a fan of a lot of different things, you know what I mean? But I think Turtles is kind of one of those IPs that the general fandom is okay with so many different iterations.
Right.
And I really think that's because it's how it started, right? Like since the beginning, there was always comics, cartoons, movies, You know what I mean? So like take your pick. Which one do you like? You know what I mean? So I'm welcoming to this, but like, whoa, man, because there's like the handful of things that you always need to make it Ninja Turtles. They took out like 2 of them, so I'm like, like crazy.
And I think, I get what you're saying too, because I feel like, so with all the different iterations that we've had over the years, there doesn't seem to be, because one iteration where Splinter is a human that gets turned into a rat, right? Then there's the other iteration where he's the pet of, Hamoto Yoshi and all that stuff. There's all these different variations of it. So there's not one that's like canon, right? Like there's not one specifically that like is like the one that it like you said, it depends on what you grew up with, right? Because
it depends on the verse,
right? Because for me, it's like the animated series, right? He gets turned into a rat, right? Because that's what happens in the original animated series. He gets turned into a rat, but then you had the movie, the 90s movie, where he was just, you see the little like stop motion rat like doing the martial arts, when he's watching his owner do it. And then there's that version. So both of those versions work for me, right? Like neither one is set in stone for me. But this was just a little too much. I get it, and it makes sense, and I like the way that they used it to propel the story along.
Right.
And one thing I also love about this movie is like it's very much Batman Year One, right? Where like they're still learning everything. Like it's very, very, very beginning stages of them being the Ninja Turtles, which I think,
because they totally address like why they're going out and doing what we know them to do, and you get it, and it's almost like, they're just a bunch of dumb kids. Like I love it. Like I love that about it, because like. First of all, I know the big change with the like how they learn their martial arts. I found out from a Jeremy Johns review, because he brought it up. So I knew walking in that was going to happen. I did not like it either. But I can totally imagine if I were you guys and I was there and I didn't know going in, I would have been like, ugh, like that's weird.
That's how I felt.
Yeah, and I totally understand. Luckily, like I got to like kind of live with it for a couple of days before I saw it. So that was that. But yeah, I after that though, I still like really loved what they did with the movie. I think somebody else brought it up, like all the pop culture references. It's just hilarious. Like, I think that's usually like that's not something that I love in movies because it dates it immediately, but that's a part of Ninja Turtles, like that. So I like it. I think it's a lot of fun.
It just makes you wonder, like, what this version of Shredder's going to be, Like, it could be anything, really.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. Eli, what were you going to say?
Oh, sorry.
Can I point out a couple of the references?
Yes.
On Donnie's staff, there's a Satoru Gojo sticker from Jujutsu Kaisen.
That's awesome. So, Donnie's like the big anime guy, which is kind of cool. I loved all the Attack on Titan references. There's
Yep.
Mark Ruffalo.
The Mark Ruffalo stuff. That was good.
Go ahead. Were you gonna?
No.
I also want to talk about April. We didn't talk about April. We haven't talked about
I love that.
Ejibiri's role as April. I think, first of all, I think she's incredible. Obviously, from the Bear, like she is Sydney. She's great. And her, like this whole time watching this movie, all I can hear was Sydney, right?
Yeah,
like I saw Sydney, I heard Sydney. But yeah, I thought she was fantastic. I love this version of April. Like this version of April is incredible. What do you guys think about this iteration of April?
Puke girl. Oh my god, that was my favorite part.
April. Puke girl. April. What do they call her? Puke girl.
Puke girl. Yeah.
Puke girl. Yeah.
Because it was on her locker.
Yeah.
And then I didn't think they were going to show anything, and then they just.
They got real Nickelodeon with it.
Hey, Pablo and Andy have joined us too. What's up, guys?
Just joined. Don't know if you said this already, but I'm interested in seeing if another mutant continues to work with the Turtles or end up as Shredder's henchman. I don't know. We'll see.
I think. I mean, you got it. I think you're gonna have to split up the team. Like I brought up this example before. It reminds me of the X-Men, right? Like I feel like everyone's kind of in the same. Everyone right now is happy in the mansion, living together, figuring out their powers together. But Shredder's going to be the Magneto, and he's going to come out and start to tear the family apart. Like start to, it's basically mutants, right? More mutants. He's going to realize that, I think it's going to be a mirror to the X-Men. I really do. I think that, Shredder's going to come out and be like, hey, humans are horrible. Like mutants are treated like dirt. Like don't listen to them. And Splinter's going to be the Professor Xavier. Like, that's exactly, that's how I predict it happening. And of course, Bebop and Rocksteady and everyone.
They do go with Shredder.
Yeah. And that's, well, we already know Shredder's going to be in it. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's how it's going to work out, and I do think they're going to go their separate ways. You have
do
to.
You think Shredder will be a mutant? Like,
I mean, he might be part mutant,
he might
or like deformed, like how he was in the 2012 series, where he had a burn scar on like the left side of his face.
And maybe he is disfigured or something, right? Like he has something that he can relate to being a mutant, right? Like he can have those feelings towards it.
I do really like what they did with the 2003 series, and they made him. He was like an Utrom, like one of the. I think that's so cool. He was like a little Krang the whole time, like inside of.
Yeah.
That was really funny and really cool.
I've
and like
never seen that series.
Yeah, the 2003 series is really good.
The 2003, that's the one you saw.
No, I've seen the 2012 and Rise.
Yeah, so Rise is the new 2D one. 2012 is the 3D animated one, and then 2003 is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like that one. It's like a darker, like more mature, like.
Oh yeah, okay, no, yeah, you have.
And I think it was more based on the comics, but
I like the 2012 one was pretty good.
The 2012 one, I kind of like all of them. Like Rises are like really fun too. At first, I was like really off put by the designs, but then you get into it, and you're like, I love Donnie. Like Donnie's great in this.
Absolutely, yeah, they're all great, and they all have their own personalities too. And that's one thing that I think that really, because I feel like sometimes when you watch the older stuff, especially, they're just like more caricatures of what their personalities are, right? Like they almost seem like they're the same except for this little thing. I feel like in this movie particularly, they're all like, you can literally point them out in a lineup and who's who, not just because of their bandanas or whatever, or one's wearing glasses, one has braces. Like you can tell just from their personalities and stuff like that how different they are. They really worked on differentiating them enough to really tell who's who, if that makes sense, right?
I really liked Raph in this movie.
Yeah, Raph was great.
Yes.
I love Raph. Leo ended up being my favorite in this one. I think he had like a fun arc. I loved the stuff with him in April. I thought it was just really, really adorable. I do want to talk about my other big issue with the movie.
Yeah, please.
And it's at the end. So when I mentioned like there's always stuff that like you always associate with the Turtles, and they changed a couple of things. One of them is like, the ties to Japan. The other big thing is, so throughout the movie, and you see this in the trailer too, like they're so desperately just want to be normal, right? Like coming of age tale, it's your typical, like, especially the Seth Rogen like teenage thing. They just want to fit in. All they want to do, they're watching like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and they're like, why is he leaving school? Like, why didn't he just, school is so great. So they just want to go to high school. That's their dream. And in the end, they achieve it, right? Like the whole goal is to fit in and be accepted, and they do it. So like a funny thing also, side note, I heard that like an early iteration of the script was Baxter was going to be throughout the whole movie, and he was going to be one of their teachers, and they were already in high school.
Oh,
so I feel like this is part of that's going to morph into the second movie a little bit, but yeah, I feel like that's crazy. Like, I don't hate it. I'm very curious as to how they're going to treat this. Like, I feel like they have to end up like something's going to happen at the beginning and just rewind it, like said, back to status quo. Like, because how are you going to have them like it's such a thing. They have to, they're ninjas. They like operate in the darkness. They're giant turtles. They live in the sewers. So it's like now that they're just like cool and they're out on the surface, it's kind of, and then on top of it, they still live in the sewer. So like, why are they living in the sewer if they're accepted by society now? Right. It's kind of a weird thing. I'll go with it, right? I'll see. But yeah, it was very fulfilling to watch after seeing that, because you wanted that for them. But now it's like big picture. Like, what does this mean for the future?
My wife brought up that Donnie kind of took Mikey's funny guy persona and kind of left Mikey with not as much as a personality. Yeah, that's kind of true. Actually, yeah, that does ring true. Not as much as the other turtles. Yeah.
Sadly,
that is true. I think there's yeah, no, I get what you're saying now. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. It's kind of hard to really portray that party dude without going over the top, right? Like, because
they did shift it. I feel like because they even say it in the
yeah.
promos, like Leo's the leader, Ralph's the muscle, Donnie's the brain, and they call Mikey the entertainer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You know, and he was talking about like wanting to take improv classes and
That's
signed
great.
up for that. There was a really funny part at the end, the mid-credit scene where they cut to Mikey doing improv, and he kept saying, he instead of saying yes and he kept saying no, but I like doing the opposite of the improv thing, which is really funny, I think.
Cool.
Yeah, I agree. I noticed that too.
So yeah, I mean, I think we're all on the same page. We all really liked it. We all think people should go out there and watch it, right?
Overall, hard recommend. Easy.
Yeah, anything else you guys want to add to that?
Real quickly, something that I didn't really like as much is instead of it being, I'm really used to being Donnie and April because of the 2012 series.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it was always Leo. I mean, it always kind of switched, right? Because at one point it was Mikey too.
Mikey and then Leo and Donnie too. Yeah, Donnie especially from the 2012 one. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Eli. Yeah, it's cute. The way that she played April is basically the exact same way she plays. She's just being herself, and I loved it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because she's just so natural and she feels so real.
She is.
Yes.
But and I also love like her agency and her arc too. Like you know what I mean? Like she had her own goals and kind of had her own revelations. So this was really, really cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we're done with spoilers now, right, guys?
Yes, you can please text Joseph.
I just did. Texting my brother. Okay, so let's talk box office for this movie specifically first, and then we'll talk about kind of ramifications of it and what kind of movies what the summer's kind of looking like. You know, for movies in general. So this movie, all right, so let's just actually, I kind of want to go back a couple weeks when we were talking about this to begin with. Let's see, I have it here.
See if I read down.
Okay, so this was our predictions. All right, I think we were all being very generous, but so Christian, this was right after the Barbenheimer high too, right? So like, don't blame us if we thought box office was back and these movies were just going to make a ton of money.
So generous.
So generous. So Christian, we had Christian at 90 million 3-day weekend. So we're talking Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay. Okay, so we had that for 3 days. Jason was at 81 prediction for the 3-day weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I was being very generous, and I was like, look, like I kind of felt like it was going to make a little bit less than this, but I was like, it's Ninja Turtles. Hopefully brand recognition. People will want to come see. Movies are back, right? Movies are back. It's going to happen. I had 67 for the 3-day weekend. Turns out none of us were close. None of us were close. I mean, obviously, like I was the closest just because I was at the bottom there. So we were talking 3-day weekend with those numbers. 5-day weekend from Wednesday to Sunday, it made $43,081.
Oh man!
Or no, 41 million. Sorry, for 43 million.
43,000. That's horrible.
$43 million. Right? Okay. We were off.
The movies are not back. Barbie's back.
The movies are not back. Barbie is back. So, so why do you guys think this movie didn't do very well? Like what? So to me, it feels like a success, right? Because it didn't cost that much to make. I think it cost less than 100 million to make, right? A lot of these movies are being profitable because they're starting to make them for a lot less. Like the budgets are shrinking, which is good. Were you guys really expecting it to make a lot more? Why don't you guys think it made more than it did?
I think I misread the Barbenheimer hype, right? And I thought that was like a hype for just movies in general. And here we're just gonna like with the momentum, like right into the opening weekend of Turtles. No, it was just Barbie, you know, and rightfully so, deservedly so. I love the movie; right. It was great, you know. But that did not necessarily like it was a Barbie weekend, not a movies weekend. I'd say.
So I think, Jason, do you have any Do you have explanation? What do you have to say for yourself?
Well, I think, I mean, us as the nostalgia geeks, we're a smaller group than we thought. Because, I think the majority of people probably see it as, oh, Ninja Turtles, that's a kid's movie. And us, we're like, fuck yeah, Ninja Turtles, But, everybody else is like Barbie or Oppenheimer,
No,
we're not as big of a group as we thought, I guess.
No, that's
I loved
true.
it, though. I loved it.
So I think I think it's twofold, right? I think one of the main things is Barbenheimer. Like that's just such a juggernaut that nothing releasing this month is gonna even come close. Even next month, I don't think is gonna even come close to what Barbie did, specifically Barbie. Like it's insane. Number two, I also think it suffers from what the first Spider-Verse did, right? Because I remember when the first Spider-Verse came out, it was coming right off of the heels of a Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. And it didn't really do gangbusters when it first opened because people were like, why do I need another Spider-Man movie? Like another Spider-Man movie? What is this? I didn't see it opening. I'm not going to lie. When Spider-Verse first came out, I had almost no interest in seeing it because I was in the same boat. I was like, we just got a new live action Spider-Man. What is this? Like, why do I need to go watch this movie? It took a couple weeks and people saying, hey, this is awesome. This is amazing. You need to go watch this for me to finally go watch it. We watched it and we loved it. And I'm glad I did see it at theaters. I feel like this suffers from the same thing, especially after the 2016 and the Michael Bay versions and stuff like that. I feel like that really put a sour taste in people's mouth where they were like, do we need another reboot of Ninja Turtles? Like, why are we getting this right now? And that's what I think everyone's brain was at, was like, why do we need this right now? Like, it just didn't make any sense, right? And I think that played a lot into it. This movie has legs. It's still doing well. It's not doing horribly. It's still going to make more money. And I think it's going to have the Spider-Verse effect where it's going to stick around for a while. People are going to tell their friends and everyone's going to eventually go see it and say, this is freaking amazing. But I do think the fatigue for Ninja Turtles is here. I'm not even going to lie. I really, really do. For like a new Ninja Turtles, I hate using that word too, because I don't think there's a superhero fatigue. I just think there's a bad superhero movie fatigue. And same, I don't think there's Ninja Turtle fatigue. I just think people are just sick of kind of the same old kind of run-of-the-mill like Ninja Turtle stuff that we've been getting, right? So no one's ready for this new iteration. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think
I think we're at.
The Turtles it's kind of one of those IPs that are like that evergreen, like your Spider-Man, your Superman, your Batman, Ninja Turtles. You know what I mean? It's like it has its peak and then it kind of dies down for a little bit and then they redo it again. And you know what I mean? It's always going to be in like, the pop culture talk, you know what I mean? I think you're right though. I think maybe, and Jason too, like, we just kind of overestimated. It's like, oh dude, Masters of the Universe movie, it's going to make 200 million. But like people are like, what's a He-Man? You know what I mean? Like, and it's just us. I'm in my bubble, like, yep. That's it. And like, I go to Target and I see the toys everywhere and I think like, you're in my bubble too. And like, everybody's like, what bubble? And I'm like, oh, like they don't see the nostalgia or excitement of going out when they can just watch movies at home on their own time.
Yeah. That's too.
So what do you think was the difference for Barbie or Barbenheimer then? Like what made that such a juggernaut, a cultural thing?
Yeah, I love this conversation. I really do because I really like they don't see the nostalgia or excitement of going out when they just can't watch it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So I think first of all, it's a cultural thing, right? Like I do think the Barbenheimer thing actually caught on and was worked to both movies' benefit 100%.
Absolutely.
Everybody wanted to be part of the conversation. So everybody went to go watch it. Nobody wanted to be left out. Everyone wanted to be able to talk to their friends about it. Everyone wanted to talk to their families about it. What?
It's like people wearing Spider-Man suits to across the Spider-Verse.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's exactly what it is. It was a cultural event. I also think, so yes, Barbie is based on an IP, but I think this is starting to show that original movies can do well, will do well, right? Well, yeah. But no, like, original IP can do well. Like, yes, Barbie is based on something, but it's probably the most original movie I've ever seen based on an IP, based on a property. Other than like, I think the only one I can think of is a Lego movie. Like, not even joking, like not even lying. Like the first Lego movie,
right?
Totally caught everyone off guard and was just completely its own thing.
Back to Lord and Miller again.
It's Barbie, right? Like, I mean, Barbie's been around since the 50s, since the 60s. So you had people of all ages. I'm not saying, listen, we grew up with Ninja Turtles, but Ninja Turtles didn't come out to late 80s, right? Like they're still fairly new. Barbie is something that has been around for generations. Barbie is something that has been speaking to young girls for decades. Like, of course it's going to do better than Ninja Turtles. It's going to do better than everything because of the nostalgia. It plays a lot into nostalgia, but it's also
the gravity towards it.
And this comes from all angles. It comes from males, females. Like I played with Barbies when I was a kid. Like, I'm not ashamed to admit it. I don't care. Like, it was a toy. Like, it was an action figure. Like,
I took my sister's Ken and beat him up.
Yeah. Like, whatever the case may be, I think it is just Barbie was aimed at an older demographic. I think a younger person, the less likely they're going to be interested in going out. No, that's true. I think that it was aimed towards an older demographic and people with families, right? Families went to go watch Barbie. Everybody can enjoy Barbie, and that's the thing. And this Barbie as a property, and like I said before, it means a lot to so many people and has over the generations. That of course it's going to do better than everyone else. And word of mouth, like people go watch that movie and they're like, dude, this movie is hilarious. Go watch it. Like, you have to go watch this movie. And that's what everyone did. I walked out of it and I was like, I want to go watch it again. Like, that's how much I loved it. Like, it was great. I told people whenever they asked how it was, you need to go watch Barbie, even more so than Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer was great. Oppenheimer was fantastic. But I mean, obviously Barbie's the fun one, right? Like, Barbie's the fun one.
I really got to give it to Greta Gerwig, right? I mean, because it's genius. It's genius what she did. Because like just what we talked about between Lego, Barbie, Ninja Turtles, these are like franchises that have been around at least for a few generations, you know, like the Ninja Turtles being the youngest. But, you know, there's that multi-generational thing that already has that built-in appeal. But I think what Greta did, it was like to make it about something, you know what I mean? Something bigger than Barbie, but also like completely redefining Barbie, like what Barbie stands for in like in the greater society. Because I think before this, you know, a lot of it, they were addressed it in the movie, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people can put the blame on Barbie for, like, I don't know, beauty standards and societal problems like that. And, you know, like, this movie kind of single-handedly redefines it backwards. Now it's like, she is empowerment, you know what I mean? And that's awesome.
It's insane that Mattel had to have final say, essentially, right? Like, they did. Like, there was a lot of back and forth between Greta and Mattel, and they were like, they eventually had to sign off on the finished product, no matter what kind of fights they had. But the fact that they let this movie be released in its form is insane to me. Like, insane. Like, it's crazy.
I don't know if you guys have seen the interviews, but like Margot Robbie talked about that. And I guess they were like, how did you guys get Mattel? She was like, so when they presented it as a whole. And she was like, they think that, like, because it was presented as the movie as a whole, instead of like, oh, we were thinking if we could have a scene like this or have a scene like that, like, it was just so overwhelming that they were like, just take it, do it. So yeah, and it worked to everybody's advantage. I think it was really good for Mattel. You know what I mean? Like, look at the Barbie sales now. Oh, it's crazy. Also,
dude, you can't find any of the movie ones anywhere.
I saw maybe like one of the sweetest things I've ever seen. Because, like, you know, toy kid. I grew up in Toys R Us. Yeah. Toys R Us is like my home away from home, or was. Like, the pink aisle. You know, as a little boy, like, you avoid the pink aisle. I was at Target a few weeks ago. I saw two. I'm like getting emotional. I saw two little boys run up,
cool.
Right into the pink aisle. And they're like, oh, there it is. And one of them grabs a Barbie.
That's
and
awesome.
The other one is like, are you going to get it? He's like, I don't know. Where's my mom? And I was like, that made me so happy. Yeah. It's such a beautiful moment that I got to see. Dude. I'm like tearing up right now. It's so cool.
Oh, that's so cool. It's so cool.
Like,
I mean, to me, like, honestly, listen, I mean, I've been very open about this. Like, I've never had the idea of like a boy aisle and girl aisle, pink aisle, blue aisle, whatever. You get whatever toys speak to you. Right. A toy's a toy. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a boy, you're a girl. It doesn't matter. You play with what you want to play with. It's all right. No one's I can give a crap. And I think things like that's awesome. The fact that it's, you know, little boys are going to see Barbie. And I do legitimately think if you have teenage sons, if you have boys in your family, husbands, whatever, boyfriends, take them to go watch Barbie. I'm not saying that we need to be taught a lesson, or by watching this movie, you're going to like, oh my gosh, that's how it is for women. I'm so sorry.
But kind of.
But like, it kind of does. Like, it really sheds a new light on things. And I'm trying to drag this kid to go see it because I really think it's a legitimately important movie that's entertaining too, right? It's not preachy. It's just enough to be like fun, but you're also like, yeah, like that's crazy. If you didn't know it already, we all know the world's messed up, but Barbie is certainly something that you need to be watching and taking your kids to go watch, taking your family to go watch, taking your boys to go watch. So certainly go watch Barbie.
The comedy, I think, is absolutely genius. Like it was necessary. I think I just saw this thing with Taika Waititi was talking about the importance of comedy and like how it makes difficult subject matter much easier to discuss, right? Like it makes it palatable. And he was like talking about that when he was talking about like Jojo Rabbit. And I think it's the same thing with Barbie. You know what I mean? Like you have like very, very serious stuff that we're talking about, but it's all hidden under these jokes. These really, really, really funny jokes. So
really great jokes.
Yeah.
All right.
Well done.
Yeah, very cool. Someone wanted to talk about a specific anniversary of a specific animated show. I can't remember. It's maybe something like a Star Trek. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's a
something. Battlestar Galactica.
That one.
Star Wars: The Clone Wars
is celebrating its 15th anniversary today. Woo! Disney, George Lucas. No, that was Dave Filoni.
Yeah, George was also there.
George was there, but George, kind of was just kind of like smoking his cigar in his office. Well, Dave Filoni was like, how does this look? And George was like, sure, kid, sure.
He was actually in the room as they were like drawing up concepts for the characters.
Are you sure he was in the room where it happened?
I've been watching I
know. Yeah, I watched a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. George was very.
I know he was. I'm just. I like to imagine people like George Lucas just like sitting like in the shadows with a cigar. And people are like Kathleen Kennedy still comes to him, and she's like, "What about this, sir?" He's like, "Okay." No.
And he has the red guard just like Palpatine.
Right, yeah. Oh man. So what's that?
He has Purge Troopers.
Oh, this is my little Rex.
Sweet.
I might find that.
Happy birthday, dude.
That is awesome. That is cool. Well, happy birthday to the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
When does Ahsoka start?
Not
in like a week, I think. And next week.
Yeah,
I think it starts next week. We get 2 episodes.
Yeah, certainly. So, well, guys, I think this is our last episode for at least a week. We won't be doing one next week. I'm gonna be out of town. I'm gonna be in California. Maybe this time next week we're gonna be getting on some roller coaster, I'm sure.
Well, one quick thing about Clone Wars. Now we're talking about the anniversary of it. Are we going all the way back to that animated Clone Wars? You guys remember that, right?
The 2003, the one from 2007.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's the Gendry.
What is it? Tartakovsky?
Yeah.
Not the one that came right after Revenge.
I still need to watch Primal, by the way. I heard Primal.
Yes, you do.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Have you watched Primal?
Oh my god, I watched both seasons.
Ooh.
So crazy. That's the guy who did Hotel Transylvania. Like, it's so weird.
It's totally opposite. Like,
I know. He also
a lot
did
more bloody.
He did like Dexter's Lab and like, so didn't he do Samurai Jack? I think he did Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're gonna love Primal.
Yeah, I know. We need to watch it. We need to watch Primal.
Hey, but as far as the Ninja Turtle box office thing, now, if I seem to remember, there was like somebody was gonna have to watch a movie, right?
I'm still like debating over a couple movies because I'm still trying to figure out. See, the thing is, like, I don't know what movies Christian has seen and which movies he hasn't seen.
Has he seen Brady of Colorado?
Brady of Colorado?
Totally. I watched that like every other week. I saw it.
I'm sure
you've
watched Freddy Got Fingered, of course, right? One of the worst movies of all time.
Oh God.
Yep.
Yeah, you've
love
seen
it.
that. I'm sure you have.
Don't need to see it again.
See, man, I'm gonna come up with something. Actually, I'll announce it on the Pastrami Nation page. I'll have to do it in big letters.
I will hold up my part. I will watch it
for sure,
whatever it is.
Well, cool. Well, thank you guys for listening. Oh, real quick, actually, this is a good question. So this is a question to go out on. Christopher Nolan, speaking of Oppenheimer, during an interview recently, was talking about remote drop movies. Now, I don't know if you guys know what remote drop is, because we don't remote drop anymore because we're so used to streaming and picking what we want. But back in the day when you used to scroll through the channels, there's always one or two movies that would always make you stop and drop the remote and watch it, right? Like there's always something on that you can find and you're like, oh, like you're on TNT and you're like, we still do it from time to time. You're on TNT, you're like, oh, like such and such is on. Christopher Nolan revealed today that one of his number one remote drop movies of all time is Talladega Nights.
No way.
Christopher Nolan, like, that's like his favorite comedy of all time.
Wow.
So here's a question to you guys. You guys rolling through the channels. What's one movie that you could think of off the top of your head that you're flipping through and you're like, oh, like this is on. I'm just going to drop the remote and watch it. I know I got mine. Mine always seems to be, for some reason, if I'm in a hotel room or if I'm just, we don't get cable, we have streaming, but like if I'm ever scrolling through channels, for some reason, Con Air is always on somewhere.
Nice.
And every time I land on Con Air, I drop the remote and I'm like, I don't care where it's at in the movie. I will watch it. Con Air is mine. What about you guys? Christian, do you have one? Can you think of one off the top of your head?
Shawshank.
Shawshank's another good one. Yes.
That's how I saw it. That's how I caught it online on TNT. And I was like, yeah. It's still, I'll stop.
It's amazing. And NDWK, Oceans 11, 12, or 13. Good choice. Nice. What about you, Jason?
It's been Rocky 5 for me lately.
Oh, nice.
Like I've been, and I'll watch it wherever it's at. You knocked him down. Now what you knocking me down? In the ring, I'm a gun. Only fights in the ring. And
nice.
You know what I caught the other day though? I caught. You guys remember Cat's Eye?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was on. I was like, holy shit.
Oh, so real quick, talking about Shawshank. No, go ahead, Jason.
You never saw Cat's Eye, Christian?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Oh my God. Stephen King movie. There's 3 little short stories. You got to check it out.
Oh, I'm gonna look it up right
good.
now.
It's really good.
Came back in like 85 or something.
Yeah.
The third one's my favorite.
I'm gonna check it out right now.
Me and Cassie were talking about this. Every time I hit Shawshank, it's right. I always forget. There's like the first like 15, 20 minutes where you actually see him do the stuff, right? Because for some reason, for the longest time, I had never watched that movie from the beginning. And every time I watched it, it was always like from the part he was in prison. Every time I watch the whole movie, I always forget there's a whole scene at the beginning where he walks in on his wife and the murder happens and he goes to trial. Then he goes to Shawshank. It's like the weirdest thing. Every time I watch it from the beginning, I was like, this was not in the movie. And then I was like, yeah, it was. But like, I always think that. But do you have a movie like that you can think of? Because you're used to streaming and stuff. So like,
one of the ones that I will always do, well, 2 is Winter Soldier in Civil War.
Oh, Winter Soldier's on like TNT a lot.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, that's cool.
Winter Soldier. Yeah, actually, a lot of the MCU movies are on like TNT.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go. That's our remote drop movies. Let us know what you guys like to watch. What are those movies, those comfort movies you're flipping through the channels that you see? You just have to stop and watch. Yeah, we all have those. So anyways, guys, thank you guys for joining us. We really, really appreciate you. Go check out Barbie. Go check out Ninja Turtles. What do we have coming up? Is there anything out that's coming to theaters soon? Talk to Me is supposed to be really good. I really want to see that. Gosh, I can't think of what else is out there right now?
That scary one came out. I want to see it. The one with the vampire.
There's a couple.
Oh, the
Demeter
Last Voyage of the Demeter. Yes. I want to see that too. The vampire, Dracula, the one with Dracula.
That's the vampire.
Blue Beetle. I've been hearing a lot of great things about. So
yeah, I'm gonna go check it out.
The Blue Beetle popcorn bucket. I need that.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, guys. Well, let us know what you guys are excited for. Let us know what you guys recommend we watch. And so I think you all know where to find us by now, but you can find me, Kevin Hoskinson, on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you Threads, Twitter, X, whatever you call it now. I don't know. It's Twitter to me still. Christian, where can they find you?
All the same places, Christian Nacorda. I just made a new post on my Instagram. You guys can check it out.
Cool. Yeah, very cool. And Jason?
Right now, they can find me at anywhere that sells a really big milkshake because I've been craving one of those all day.
For real, man. For real. Of course, this kid, you can't find him anywhere because
You can find me in the nether realm.
he's a minor. So
Another realm.
nether realm, you'll find him there. All right, guys, take it easy. Have a good day. Have a good night. And we will talk to you guys in a couple weeks. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.